Okay, small update. I kind of understand it now. The basic forms are getting a little bit more clear to me. What stands out to me the most is definitely this area on focusing, and this area isn't really fully rendered because that's not the main focus. This was very helpful. This was a very helpful study. I've only been focusing on rendering form recently. A couple of months ago, or maybe like a year ago, I wouldn't have been focusing on rendering form. I've only come to the realization recently that there are no lines in real life, and the only way to accurately depict form would be through light and shadow. You know, I filmed this around a month ago, where it was blazing hot, and now it's a wonderful, beautiful gray outside. Anyway, hello and welcome to the studio. It's so nice of you to join me this evening, and I am Natalie. I decided to film a little session where I studied skulls, specifically the cranium. Although I've studied the skull before, I've never really hyper-focused on its specific parts. This time around, I've decided to study the cranium more in depth. I'm more interested in the forehead bones, that is, the bones consist of the brow ridge and a bit of the nasal bone. Just a disclaimer though, looking back, I filmed this a month ago. I might just say that if you're starting out with studying the bones, or more specifically the skull or any anatomical form, this approach might look pretty to you because of the rendering. But the most important step of studying anatomy isn't in the rendering, although it does look very tempting to do that because it's so fun, it's so pretty, and you just want to display it on your wall and say to all of your friends, hey guys, this is the cranium. Did you know that I studied the skull? I think the Draftsman podcast discusses this in one of their episodes concerning the study of anatomy, but basically they said the construction, or how well you understand an anatomical form is much more important than rendering it. And now you might be wondering why I might have done the opposite of what they advised. Well, for the past couple of years, I've been studying anatomy. Yeah, I've been doing that, but I never took it a step further by rendering it. Why an artist might choose to render a study, in my opinion that is solely based on the intent of their study. In the beginning of this video, I definitely did not render those forms. Why? Because I wanted to understand its underlying structure before fully rendering it. I wanted to take it a step further by understanding like the forehead bones, specifically like the brow ridge, because I mean that's kind of important to know if you're studying anatomy for portraiture. Again, it's more important to understand how a form is structured than it is to render it. Rendering form can have good or bad effects for your study, which again circles back to the intent of your study. Are you studying to understand its overall form and architecture? If your answer is yes, then I'd say you should focus on studying how other artists construct the same form you're studying. If, like the second half of my session, my intent was to study how the cranium is represented by light and shadow, then I'd focus on that. The biggest takeaway from this video is you should know the intent of your study session, or your art study session, before you dive into it. Want to study the facial muscles? Which group of facial muscles? Are you studying the structure, or do you want to know how it's affected by light and shadow, etc., etc.? Really, my intention for this video isn't really how to teach you how to draw the skull, but more so about how to go about your art study session with intent and clarity. Alright, I think that's all I wanted to say in this video. Let me know if this podcast style voiceover is pretty good. If you do like it, I think I might prepare a longer script. I think I've said enough for this video, and thank you for joining me, and as always, stay curious.